The solution to your shopping addiction is not about delayed gratification, self-control, self-discipline that you've heard so many times, because they don't work in the long run, isn't it? I know as a shopaholic myself now with my first million pesos. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the 3 real solutions that will break this toxic cycle for good. Let's get into it. Now, we need to debunk first why having self-control and self-discipline doesn't work in the long run if you want to break your toxic spending habits for good. So, discipline, self-control, it comes from willpower, which is telling yourself na I need to do this, I need to control myself, I need to have discipline. That effort operates from your conscious mind, which is only 10% of your brain working, because your conscious mind only consists of 10% of your brain power. So no wonder why how many times you keep telling yourself, I'll stop doing this, I'll finally stick to this thing that I said I would, I'll finally stop buying, I'll finally stop, na hindi na ako magpapabudol. That, like, can you notice how you're saying it also? It's like this knuckle clenching, like your face, like it produces so much effort. That effort is very, very conscious, right? And so that's really just 10% of your brain working. And so now you'd wonder, what's the 90%? That 90% is your unconscious mind. 90% of your decision making, 90% of your money decisions actually happen unconsciously. It happens unconsciously, that operates in your unconscious mind, where real habits are really formed. So if you're going to look at the toxic cycle, the shopping addiction that you're in, it's not because you're consciously doing it. You already know, like, you want to break away from it. But if you want to break the cycle, it's because it's rooted from your unconscious mind, because that's where habits are really formed. So in order to really picture this on how our brain works, because this is what I've literally learned as a money mindset and life coach, and really understanding how our mind works in order to instill habits that really stick, okay? So first, I want you to imagine you're on a ship right now, okay? And then you see this really huge iceberg in front of you. So you'll see like the tip of the iceberg, right? Like, oh, there's like, you think that there's just ice floating on top of the water. Okay, so that little bit of iceberg, the tip of the iceberg, that represents 10% of your conscious mind, okay? But if you watch Titanic, you'd know not to underestimate this iceberg, because it goes way deeper. Because 90% of this iceberg is submerged underwater, that you just don't see. 90% of the chunk of this iceberg is submerged underwater, you just don't see it, and that represents your unconscious mind. So that means you might not even realize that you've been so focused on that tip of the iceberg, which is your conscious mind, telling yourself that I just need to have more discipline to manage my finances better, I just need to control myself better, so hindi na ako magpabudol, I'll finally stop this shopping addiction. When in reality, you just don't see the bigger chunk of the problem that is submerged underwater, because it's unconscious. The bigger chunk of the problem is something that you're unconsciously avoiding. And these are your unconscious toxic thought patterns around money, your unconscious limiting beliefs around money that were passed on to you, your unconscious financial traumas that were passed on by generations to generations to you, that you just accepted as normal. All of these unconscious beliefs and thoughts around money, these are what fuels 90% of your money decisions. This is why you're struggling to save despite earning more. This is why you're struggling to stop this shopping addiction. This is why you feel like madali kang mabudol. You easily give in to all of the promos and the sales tactics. This is why you always feel guilty whenever you spend on yourself. So I want you to understand that this delayed gratification, this discipline, this self-control, that's just the surface level problem. That's what you choose to see. That's what your conscious mind can only see. But what you really need, just like that iceberg, is to really look at the bigger chunk of the problem, to go deeper, to understand what is the underlying root problem here that I really need to solve in order to break this cycle for good. If you've been watching my channel, I've been so vocal about my past shopaholic journey, how I've made those mistakes. And looking back at why it was a struggle for me, it was because I was so focused on the tip of the iceberg. Like, I need to have discipline, I need to have willpower, I need to control myself, I just need to delete the apps, I just need to track my expenses daily and be strict to myself and follow my budget strictly and stick to that. Like, all of that is literally just the tip of the iceberg. What we need to look at is the bigger chunk of that iceberg, the 90% that we are unconsciously not seeing, but is unconsciously dictating our money habits, our money decisions. With that in mind, then I can talk about how can we really solve the real problems. Because I can tell you now, your shopping addiction, your impulsive buying, your emotional spending, your retail therapy, that is just the surface level problem. That's just a surface level problem. That's just the tip of the iceberg. What we're gonna talk about in this video is the real problems that you need to solve and come up with real solutions that will actually break the cycle for good, that has worked for me and has worked with several of my clients that I've coached inside my coaching programs, and feel empowered that they can now make wise money decisions. So let's get into it. First, the real problem, the bigger chunk of the problem, the first one is that it's deeply rooted in your financial traumas, your shopping addiction, your spending habits. The real underlying problem of it is that it comes from your childhood traumas, where you viewed money in a certain way that were just passed on to you by your parents or your relatives. Because literally, the moment we are 7 years old, we absorb information like sponges. It's really understanding the events in your childhood that allowed you to start believing these limiting beliefs around money, these toxic thought patterns around money. This, I notice, is the biggest chunk of the problem, that when I coach my clients in really understanding and looking at the events in their childhood and how it has allowed them to have a distorted view around money, to have a distorted habit around using money, that's only when they realize, like, that's the root cause. Like, that's why I feel like it's so hard to control myself. That's why I feel like I just keep blaming it on lacking discipline, when in reality, it's because growing up, I just didn't feel like my parents prioritized spending on me. And so growing up, when I started earning more, I felt like I finally could rebel against my parents and start spending on myself because I can afford it now. These are the things I really value, that I get to hold a safe space for my clients, for them to really dig deeper into what are the negative emotions that they have attached around money because of how they grew up, because of the relationship with their parents, because of the relationship with people of authority. Like, I have another client who realized that people of authority, or like people who are older than her growing up, would dictate to her, like, this is only what you can spend on, it's bad to want things that are beyond what's necessary. And so growing up, unconsciously, when she started earning, it's her way to regain control again, to regain her freedom, by spending on things more and more, by hoarding so many stuff, by having this collection, by constantly buying the next sale, because that was her way to reclaim her freedom, to regain back her independence, because she didn't have that growing up. She was restricted, you know? And so it's so important for me to guide my clients in seeing these patterns and reflecting it back to them, and for them to see, like, do I still want to keep believing that? Or is that still something that is still serving me? Because what I've understood in my coaching training is that we attach meanings to these events in our childhood that unconsciously dictate the decisions that we make as an adult. And so the great thing is, as adults, now we get to be more self-aware in understanding these deeply rooted financial traumas that are unconsciously dictating how we should spend now, how we should earn now. That's why I realized that a money problem is just a symptom of an underlying root cause problem. And that's what we need to understand, the underlying root cause problem that's been unconscious to you, and we just need to bring it up to the surface so that you just don't see the tip of the iceberg, but you see the bigger chunk of the problem that's been holding you back. That's why the real solution to overcome your shopping addiction is to uncover this underlying root problem to break the cycle for good. When I guide my clients through this, like in one session, 2 sessions, they're able to free themselves from this cycle because they realize that it doesn't have a hold on them anymore. Because when you get to bring to the surface the underlying root problem, you realize like, now I know that it doesn't have to hold me back anymore. Now I know that there's a solution to it. Now I know that I deserve better. Now I know that as an adult, I can make better solutions now. It doesn't have this financial trauma, this childhood event that happened in my life doesn't have to control me anymore. That's only when you realize that your inner child just feels broken and just wants to be heard and listened to. That's when you realize that you just need to forgive the right people, that you just need to forgive your parents, forgive those people of authority that made you feel a certain way so that you could finally move on. That's when you realize that your inner child just didn't know what she wanted back then, but now you can make different choices and different decisions now and know that you can be clear on what you want and be clear on what would be truly worth it to spend on and invest your time and resources to. That's why this gets to be an emotional process when I coach my clients. There would be tears, there would be a lot of just like letting go of the beliefs and the negative emotions that are no longer serving them, that they have been unconsciously holding on to. And when they do, that's when they finally break the cycle. That's when they tell me, Coach, wala na akong gana to shop. Coach, I finally stopped impulsive buying and I've saved consistently to 6 figures. Coach, this is why I've managed to travel more without feeling guilty. Coach, this is why I'm able to inspire my husband now. That's why I see myself as the example to my daughter now, because I have finally broken the cycle and it stops with me. This is the real work that I do with my clients. That's why I know we're building a new generation of financially confident Filipinos who are now breaking the cycle, who are passing on more empowering beliefs around money, more sustainable habits around money, that they would look back and think to themselves, it finally ended with me. I can finally use my money towards the life that I've always wanted and not be distracted by false desires, by the false illusion of accomplishment, of success. I know now that my financial traumas don't define me anymore. And it's just become a lesson that allowed me to break the cycle for good. That's why I'm so passionate as a money mindset and life coach, because our money problems really reflect our life decisions. It really goes way deeper than just like having a budgeting app or deleting the shopping apps or just listing down your expenses. That's just 10% of the solution that I always talk about. Like, if you want to be free from your money problems for good, 90% of it is really uncovering, rewiring those underlying limiting beliefs around money that has been unconsciously dictating your money decisions. And then 10% of the solution is the money management, the financial system, the auditing of expenses that I still do with my clients. But that comes to the tail end of our coaching together. When we really reframe their mindset towards having a healthier view and relationship with money, that's only when they get to be more financially confident, financially competent, and comfortable with having more discussions around money, with better managing their finances, with the right systems, with the right habits. That is the real solution. If you want to get inspired by several of my clients who have broken the cycle of their shopping addiction, of impulsive buying, of retail therapy, of emotional spending, and they have now been saving consistently to 6 figures, to funding the big life milestones in their lives one by one with their current income stream, then you can check the link in my bio for my coaching program and all of the testimonials from my clients, so that you can really be inspired of what's possible for you too, that there is a way out of this toxic cycle that you are frustrated in, that you are feeling stuck in, that there's a way for you to finally free yourselves from the financial traumas, from the toxic thought patterns that were passed on to you, so that you can finally fund the life that you've always deserved to have. You can check the link below with all the success stories of my clients who have done exactly that, so you can be inspired that it's possible for you too, and learn how I can coach you there as well. Second real problem is that you don't know what you truly want. You don't know what you truly want. So I'll tell you right here that if you're in the cycle of shopping addiction, at the back of your head, you know that like, I don't need this? Why do I still buy this? Or like, I know that I'm gonna regret it, so why do I still buy this? You already have those thoughts in your mind. Okay? The thing is, you're just too focused on stopping yourself from doing the thing you don't want to do, and unconsciously your brain's like, but we still want to do that, so let's just do that. Okay? So I realize that the real problem is that you easily give in to the boodles because you're not clear on what you truly want. That's why I don't believe on, oh, is it a need or is it a want? No. Like, I believe, is it like, I ask myself, you can ask yourself, is this really what I truly want? Is this what you truly want, or you're just giving in to false desires because it's easily available? Because the problem is, if you don't have a crystal clear picture of what you truly want out of your life, it's easy to give in to distractions. It's easy to give in to the boodles. It's easy to give in to what you've gotten used to buying. It's because you don't see what are the other options. Ano pa bang mas papasaya sa akin? Eh, ito na yung nakikita ko ngayon. Ito, alam ko, pag binili ko to, if I keep buying this, if I keep hoarding that, I already know, like, it's going to make me feel good. But what you fail to see in comparison is that there's something else you deserve so much more. You deserve lasting happiness. You deserve lasting freedom. You deserve lasting fulfillment and freedom in your life. That's what you don't see. You're choosing to settle for the fleeting things, for the temporary things, because you don't have a clear picture of what it is that you truly want out of your life. The biggest mistake that I've seen with my clients when they come to me is that when they're so focused on what not to do instead of what they want to do. All right? So let me repeat that. Sometimes we're so focused on what not to spend on, what not to use our money on, what not to check out, what not to add to cart. But have you asked yourself, what do I really want to buy? What is it really I want to afford? What is it really I want my money to go to? That's what you need to focus on, not what we shouldn't do. All right? So that's why I love guiding my clients in the real solution, which is that they get to have a crystal clear picture of their priorities in line what they truly want. Okay? Because you don't need to deprive yourself, to restrict yourself if you're clear on your priorities. You don't need to deprive yourself if you know what to prioritize. So what I notice is that when they get crystal clear on what they truly want with their ideal lifestyle, they realize this is so much more exciting to me than this fleeting thing that I'm going to keep settling for. You know, we need to find like what is the bigger thing that we truly want that will give us more excitement, more rewards, more accomplishment, more fulfillment and freedom, and a sense of accomplishment in our lives versus this thing that we could just easily check out and settle for. That's what I love coaching my clients on, is that they get to focus on the dream life. They get to dream again. They give themselves permission to know that this life that I want, I'm so much more excited to save up for that, to spend on that, knowing that this is what will give me the freedom, the happiness, the contentment that I want for my life, and all the other things are just distractions. So I help them get crystal clear on funding their dream career, funding their personal development goals, funding their leisure goals. Like, these are the exciting things that would make up their ideal lifestyle, their next lifestyle milestone. And we get to slowly create the roadmap and funding those one by one. And they realize, like, all the small things that they used to buy, all of a sudden, wala na silang gana. All of a sudden, wala na siyang appeal. It's because the level of desire for funding their true desires, the lifestyle that they really want, that gives them purpose, that gives them fulfillment, that outweighs the small things that they used to settle for. That's the real solution. I literally created the Sweet Debt-Proof Life Blueprint inside my program, where it allows my clients to create realistic and achievable goals in line with their dream life, in line with their huge milestones that they want to fund one by one, that would give them real happiness, real fulfillment, real freedom in their lives. And then from there, we get to also create achievable outcomes when it comes to what would be their target monthly income, what would be their target savings, ideal investments, so that they could fund these next lifestyle milestones into reality. I love what my client shared when she graduated my program, and she said it perfectly, that my program is like, it allows you to dream again of what's really possible, and balancing it out with the practical side of having the right financial system, the right expenses and savings to target for, so that your dream doesn't just remain a dream. Your desires don't just remain a desire, but you really see the step-by-step action plan that would allow you to be empowered to use your money to fund these goals into reality. Third real problem of your shopping addiction is that you're just not surrounded by the right people. Okay, so I would say like this is partly one of the problem. The bigger real problems are the two things I talked about, but this third one, okay, is so crucial, that if you're not surrounded by the right people, it's easy to go back to what's familiar. If you're still talking to the same people who are encouraging you to be like, oy, sale this time, 7-7, 6-6, 10-10, 11-11. Or like, you're still surrounded by the same people who tell you like, deserve mo naman yan, go, like, kaya mo naman yan. Like, if you're still surrounded by the same people who encourage your bad, toxic habits, it's easy to go back. That's why it's so important that you become mindful of the people that you hang out with, the people that you're talking to, the people that you're surrounded with. Are they helping you or derailing you from your goals, from your financial milestones, from your financial habits that you want to build that's more aligned to the life that you want to wake up to? Because whether you like it or not, our environment is so crucial on how we shape our beliefs as adults now. So we talked about like how your childhood, your deeply rooted traumas since you were a child would affect your money beliefs as an adult, right? But now, as you grow up as an adult, your environment is now going to shape you. The people you hang out with shape who you are. The content that you consume online shape you. The things that you do on your weekends and activities that you do with your friends or colleagues or whoever around you, that's what's going to shape your beliefs, your habits. So if you're not surrounded by the right people who encourage you to stick to the right money habits, to stick to the right money decisions, then you're going to keep going back to the same cycle over and over. That's why it's been so important to me that I created a community support inside my program, where I coach my clients one-on-one, and then after that, they have monthly community support with fellow clients, like-minded individuals who are on the same journey, so that they can root for each other to stick to the right money habits, to normalize funding their goals, to normalize going against the flow, to normalize their goals and dreams, that they could fund these goals into reality. Because even in my journey, when I decided to like quit my corporate job, when I decided to not participate in the budol culture anymore, when I realized that it's not aligned to my values anymore, I became so mindful with the people I interact with, the things that I talk about, the things that I converse around, you know? And so, like for me, when I decided to go for the unconventional path of becoming a business owner, coming from 6 years in corporate, I had to be part of a community who's doing just that. Like, being a coach, being a life coach in the Philippines, it's unconventional. So I had to be surrounded by a community of coaches who are carving their own paths in their own industries, in their own specific niches. And so that normalized in my brain, like, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. This is exactly why I'm doing this. And in the same way, that's why I know how valuable it is to be part of a community who have the same values, who have the same goals, who are rooting for each other, who celebrate your wins, who normalize your goals and your dreams. Because that's when your habits are really going to stick. That's when your habits are really just going to be a part of your day-to-day routine. That's when you realize and look back like, I have changed so much. That's why inside my coaching program, Fund Your Freedom, we get to do all of that. We start off with 2 months of weekly one-on-one coaching together where I get to help you identify and solve the root cause of your spending problems. What are the deeply rooted limiting beliefs that have been unconsciously dictating your money decisions? How can you identify the root cause problem so that you could finally break the cycle of your toxic spending habits for good? And also there we really understand what it is that you truly want out of your life. What are your real priorities, your real desires that you truly want to fund that would give you lasting freedom, lasting happiness, lasting fulfillment in your life. So it's going to be so tailor fit to your desires, to your struggles, so that we also get to tailor fit the right financial system that you're really going to stick to this time. And then after one-on-one coaching, it will be followed by 3 months of monthly community support with my fellow clients, with like-minded individuals who are on the same journey as you, who are rooting for you, who are celebrating your wins, who are normalizing the journey with better managing your finances, with funding your next life milestone into reality. If you're curious to join the next round in October, because my Q3 slots are fully booked, you can check the link below on how you can enroll and how you can secure your spot. I'd be so excited to welcome you inside my program if this content resonated with you and if you want tailor-fit support. All the details are linked down below inside my coaching program, Fund Your Freedom. Check all the testimonials from my clients there, because if that resonated with you, then it means it's possible for you as well. This program just solidifies my mission to build this new generation of financially confident Filipinos who are breaking this toxic cycle of their spending habits, breaking the cycle of financial overwhelm and pressure, so that they could finally feel financially confident and competent, that they're able to better manage their finances in a way that would fund their life milestones one by one. So I'm so excited that you get to be part of my mission when you join my community, when you join my programs. And if you want to watch more tips in my past shopaholic journey that led to my first billion pesos, then check out this video and I also see you there.